Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I was going to say battle report, but it's not really a battle report because we're playing out a story against AI, but still, we are up to tutorial mission 4, the Lost Journal. And for this one I'm using the paper mat that comes in the 2-player starter set for Wasteland Warfare, which is a bit shiny because it's paper, not mouse mat, so apologies for the glare over that end of the table. Hopefully it won't matter too much. But this one introduces a few new concepts weapon-wise, but more specifically as well, you can see on the map there's a bunch of radiation tokens. Those are essentially toxic barrels, like the ones you find in the game. If you get near them, you have to test for radiation damaging you. So we could end up with some ghouls on our site by the end of this one, is what I'm saying. So we're over this end of the table so I can read the objectives and what we're doing here to you from the book. As I said, scenario 4. So the safe containing the journal that Aspirant Goddard had asked us to retrieve is somewhere in this radiated area. The supermutants aren't necessarily there guarding it, but they're in the way. So the goal for my survivors is to find the lost journal, which Aspirant Goddard has said will help lead to the destruction of all mutants, blah blah blah, Brotherhood of Steel, xenophobia, etc. The supermutants just want to kill people. And we win by discovering the lost journal. It's in a safe, but we need to find the code to the safe. So we find the code to the safe, get to the safe, pick up the journal, and get it off the map. That's the rules. We win if we get it off the map. The supermutants win if everybody dies or we don't get off the map. By the end of turn 6, presumably? Yep, 6 rounds. So that's basically it, other than the radiation markers. Now where is the rules about the radiation marker? Let's see. Whenever a model ends its activation within yellow of one or more barrels, which are the radiation markers, roll a black damage effect for each barrel and resolve the radiation damage equal to the damage symbols shown. So we'll worry about that as it happens. Let's go over what both sides have been equipped with this time. So I did say that I thought this mission was the one where you stopped using the day 1 Soul Survivor. That is not correct, you are still using it. The difference, however, is apparently she passed a high persuasion check on Aspirant Goddard and has successfully asked to borrow his power armor and weapon for this mission. So this is normally Aspirant Goddard, but right now it is the Soul Survivor with the laser rifle. And the way power armor works is you slide this little stat card in, so it's giving her +3 extra strength and +4 endurance. Also a bunch more armor, including a bunch of radiation armor and super armor as well. Once the bonus 4 endurance on this armor has been chipped off by damage, you flip the card, it will still give you a little bit of protection and the strength bonus, but that's it. It's like when you just have the chassis left in the game and the rest of it's been blown off. Got dog meat with his dog bite. The 2 settlers are armed with combat rifles. They have 3 frag grenades between them, 1 radaway, 2 stimpaks I think it is, and a damaged hazmat suit each, which gives them 3 radiation armor. Super mutants, they're quite varied this time as well. This regular super mutant has got a sledgehammer and a stun pack mod for it, which means that you roll a blue die for it and it might stun the target. Yes, I know he's got a gun, but it's how it's set up. Coincidentally, the brute who is armed with the sledgehammer is actually using a missile launcher and a pipe wrench this time, so we'll get to see how scatter works when he fires that. The aviator is equipped with a bolt action pipe rifle, his aviator cap, and a plank of wood. And then the mutant hound just has a hound bite, and that's it. So we're deployed. You only get 2 inches of deployment here, so the Soul Survivor's over here, the rest of his crew is there, and the super mutants are just across that end of the table. The last thing to do as we start is, because Aspirant Goddard has told us where the safe is, we actually just flip the investigation markers, and I think that means that's where the safe is, so it's actually exceptionally... There's one there, they're all blank. So Aspirant Goddard has told us, hey, the safe is here. Someone needs to go to the safe, interact with it, and then we roll to determine what key we need. And then it's a case of searching these until we find the key, I think. So as we get battle round 1 started here, I should point out this tutorial does specify that survivor goes first. I got it wrong. I thought in all the tutorial scenarios the survivor player always goes first. Last time it was supposed to be super mutants going first, which might have made a difference because that kind of... it makes up for their shortcomings in the water treatment plant mission. Either way though, survivors definitely go first this time. The settler that was here activated, moved forward twice, and interacted with the safe. And that's going to be his turn. So we need to determine what safe key we're looking for. And essentially you've just got to roll and get a 1, 2 or a 3 and A, B or C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will be the equivalent of a 1. So we are looking for code A. And A as I double checked because I wasn't 100% sure I was remembering correctly, it's under one of these. It could be the one right over there, and that would be very painful. Have to find it and get out. So the first activation for the AI was the super mutant that looks like he's holding a pipe rifle, but he's actually holding a stun pack sledgehammer. He is just basically attacking. Keep in mind though that there is an objective for the super mutants to go for here, not just attacking. If someone picks up the journal, they become the objective, so they'll be the priority target. The Soul Survivor in the T60 power armor has moved up next to this objective here and is going to flip it. So that just means it's an item from the Wasteland. It's not what we're looking for, however, she has found, mutant hound meat. Delish. So that is in her inventory. It's Nora on the card, so it's sheep. It's, you know, whatever. But that is within orange or yellow or whatever it was, so we need to roll a black die, and that's how much radiation damage it does. 0. It would have had to, like, the most it can do on this die, I believe, is 2. Yeah, that's rare. In the power armor, the Soul Survivor has 4+1 defense, so actually I think it's impossible for him to fail that then, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Until the power armor gets destroyed, it's actually impossible for him to take radiation damage. That's not true of dog meat, however. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention, I totally forgot their super armor that they get for being a faction bonus. Dog meat and him get 2, settlers get 1. Dog meat is super weak to radiation, so him getting around this map is going to be difficult. Super mutants take no damage from radiation, so they don't care. Again, apologies for the glare from the lighting, but the brute activated next and he got objective, which is just move up to get a line of sight. The missile launcher has black range, so it can basically shoot the whole table, but he didn't have a clear shot and has to reload between turns, so saving it, moving up, he'll almost certainly get to fire it next turn. Second survivor activated and has just moved forward twice to get in contact with this, which is nothing, so it's looking less and less likely there's going to be a quick victory here by finding the safe code on this end of the table. The mutant hound activated and has recklessly charged in the crater there, gunning down on the 2 settlers over there. The mutant hound is also immune to radiation damage, just for the record, because he is actually within yellow of 2. If it was yellow, I haven't double checked yet if it was orange or yellow. I think it's yellow though, because orange seems awfully small. But either way, it's now just dog meat for the survivors. So covering the last 2 movements of Battle Round 1, there is going to be a dice roll, thankfully, but dog meat just moved up full red once and then like half just so he's outside yellow and is yellow, double checked. So then the aviator, he wants to attack, so he moved forwards once and now he is in range to fire his pipe rifle at this settler, and his aviator goggles give him perception +2, so his skill is actually 6. Just a black die at this range. That is a 7, so he has failed by 1, so we got through the entirety of Battle Round 1 with not a single person successfully hitting the other. So Battle Round 2 is going to start with this settler taking 2 pot shots at the mutant, the mutant hound. But something curious with this setup, the settlers do have between them 2 stim packs, just double checking. But more specifically, they have 3 frag grenades, and the frag grenade skill is white, and you're supposed to use that to say, oh, you look at their thrown skill. The settler card doesn't have the grenade throwing skill. It looks like this, because that means that the Soul Survivor can throw grenades green distance. Like the aviator can throw them blue distance, I think, because he's got a stronger arm. What does it mean when they don't have a skill listed? And why would the tutorial give them 3 grenades if they couldn't throw them? So they must be able to throw them, but I don't see the corresponding icon that you're supposed to have, so... Either way, she's going to shoot her gun twice. She needs 6s. It's a combat rifle. That's exactly a 6, although it becomes a 4, with an armor break. The mutant hound has 1 physical, so it just goes straight through for 2 damage, because the armor got destroyed. Second shot, 6, that was a 6, but I rolled it poorly. With an armor break, it went through, 4 damage in total. The mutant hound has 1 health left. So via random selection, the aviator super mutant is the one to activate. He's going to try and go full John Wick because the dog got shot. He moved up because he got objective, he didn't just get shoot, so the objective is technically to stop the survivors getting access to these searchables. So he still has 1 action left with which he can take 1 shot, and his skill is 6. He's not having a good day. That's an instant fail, regardless of the -1. Okay. Can't really use any more John Wick similes now because it's going to get overly confusing. Since Dog Meat has decided to leap into the fray, he charged round the corner, and he can do that because of his senses, into the aviator, so his second action is to bite, with his basic bite plus a black rather, That's his basic bite, plus a black, to try for more damage, and he is needing a 8 or less. It's a 7, becomes a 6. So it does 1 extra damage. The cola bottle means that it would have removed Overwatch, but that's irrelevant. It broke 1 armor. How much does the Aviator have? Because the Aviator cap gives him 1 bonus physical armor, so that's just negated. His base is 2, and he's got 3 damage coming in. He negated 1 of it, so he took 2 damage. Not bad, not bad. He's sturdy. Alright, back over to the AI. The super mutant with the sledgehammer got attacked recklessly again, so he just moved up twice. Not able to charge because of the intervening scenery there. It's thicker than the 1 inch or whatever. So he is there. He's not affected by the radiation. He'll obviously get into the thick of it with the power armor wielding Soul Survivor soon, if not immediately. Let's find out. So the Soul Survivor is indeed going to tangle with the super mutant with the sledgehammer. First though, move next to this. It's code B, we need code A, so unfortunately that is not the safe code we are looking for. So, the laser rifle is standard blue plus black. The blue is there because it has a chance to ignite its target. So what is she shooting with? This is still just a normal weapon, so it's 5s. That would be a 7. It was a 7, but I moved it, so sadly she missed. What would the star have done, if anything, on this? Needs to be a cola bottle, which ignores 1 armor, or 2 cola bottles ignites. Also it does energy damage, not physical, which is worth pointing out. But she whiffed, he whiffed, whatever. Back to the AI. The mutant hound activated and he's on his final AI track because he's only got 1 health left, but he still opted to charge in. So he has actually done a charge as his first action. His second is he's going to do his hound bite, which is slightly different to dog meat, so this is what he's rolling. Oh, he charged bonus though, so let's throw in a green for that. And he is needing a 6. He got exactly a 6. Well, it became a 5. He doesn't do... What does he do on the stars? He got a quick action. With his quick action, he can move, charge, he can't attack, so it's pretty irrelevant. But, base damage of 2, physical damage. The settlers have 1 plus 1, so let's see if the full damage can be negated. It can. So that negates 1 damage, then the super armor she has gets used up and absorbs the other hit. So the other settler activated and decided that that settler can handle doing 1 damage to Mutant Hound. So he moved up, he cut across the corner here because the rule I'm working with is if it's less than an inch then it's not really difficult to traverse. So he cut the corner there, went over there, moved twice, so he's searching this for free, it's an item, and he still has to do a radiation test for here. So the radiation is strength, 1 damage, his suit gives him 3, which means he can't fail it. Yeah. Okay, he blocked it. Let's see what item he found. It might be useful. He has found a baseball bat. That would have been useful for the other settler. So their inventory is stacked. I might just like to try out a grenade at some point. Just say they have the grenade throwing skill of this day 1 Soul Survivor, because she's like inexperienced, so maybe it's relevant. It could also just be like they use a different symbol or they forgot to put it on. I don't know. Either way. So there is just 1 super mutant to go in battle round 2, and it's the one with the missile launcher. So the brute with the missile launcher has moved up to block some objectives and is now shooting the missile launcher at the settler who just went. So this is a good chance to see how these work. So this is the roll. It's a black, yellow, and then a skill die. It's a heavy weapon, so he needs a 7, but if he fails, it doesn't just stop. It scatters. Also, it is a yellow wide explosion. So that's 4 inches, 3 inches. So he got 8, which becomes 7, and does armor break. So it actually doesn't matter, but say he failed, he didn't do that, and it was 8, so it failed by 1. It would only scatter orange distance, which is what that means. So it might still catch the person. But in this case, he actually got it dead on. It broke the super armor. Well, no, super armor doesn't break, sorry, it breaks his standard armor. It's just explosive damage, right? Yes. Oh, I think... Does that mean if it gets it dead on, it does extra damage? I think it is. Okay. So... Actually, I'm not sure now. Or is that just the damage? It can't only do 1 damage. I'm going to have to double check that. This is a very confusing card to look at. Okay, so it means that's the damage it does. It's 2 physical damage in a bubble that is that size. So that's what that means. That is if it hits a target, it only affects the target. I think the rulebook is not clear what that means. So I don't think it's extra damage, so I think it's just base damage, which is 2 physical. 1 of it gets negated by super armor, but he has 1 standard armor, which he actually did block, so he blocked the damage, but his super armor is removed. I don't understand this part, so please do clarify it for me, because the rulebook, I could not make sense of it. So we're already into battle round 3, and the sole survivor is the first to activate. Also, just to correct something I said earlier, I forgot that the settlers count as a unit, so if one of them picked it up, then I think both of them have access to that baseball bat, so the other settlers should be able to use it in combat come the time. Anyway, the sole survivor has moved up, didn't get into base to base, so can't search that token, but is taking another shot with the laser rifle at Super Mutant here. Needs a 5, got a 7. Would the double cola bottles have done anything? Yep, double cola bottles would have set it on fire. Oh well, over to the AI. So the super mutant that the sole survivor just attacked is the one who randomly got selected to activate first for the AI. The one with the sledgehammer, he charged in, so his second action is he's going to swing with the sledgehammer with the stun pack. So that means, skill die, and then the sledgehammer as standard adds 2 yellow. The stun pack adds a blue, and if it gets the nuke, then it does paralyze, although I'll need to double check if that happens, whether or not the power armor stops it in some way. And then the charge bonus, to try and make sure a hit happens, accuracy die. So, for his physical attack, the normal super mutant is not strength 8, 6. So 6s or less. 6 becomes a 3, cola bottle means nothing, has to be a nuke, but it did break 2 standard armor. So her armor is currently for physical 3 plus 1, so it's technically 1 plus 1. So she's currently got 1 armor, plus the bonuses. She didn't negate, so it's just the super armor that applies, which is the plus 1 on the power armor, and the 2 it has there. The sledgehammer does 2 damage, so that's just her super armor chipped away. And that's it. The settler engaged with the mutant hound is taking a swing with the baseball bat that I believe she's allowed to use. If this is wrong, I apologise. She's the same one who got 2 turns by mistake in the last battle report, so if I do 2 things wrong with her in 2 videos in a row, that's real bad. This uses her... Oh, it only uses her strength of 3 though. So that's a big fail on 8. She did have another thing in mind with her second action if she'd killed it on 1, but she's got 8 twice in a row. Deserved. Honestly, deserved for last time. The brute activated next and he charged in against the sole survivor. So he is helping out with his friend, and that means that he is rolling a bunch of dice. He's strength 8, so he gets the bonus as well. So this is what he's rolling, and he's armed with the pipe wrench, which is adding the yellow. And because they are outnumbering him now, I believe that's plus 2 to his skill, so I think it's basically impossible for him to fail it. Yeah, and he didn't, because he got an exclamation mark. It's going to do 1 extra damage. Oh, and that was a -1. So the pipe wrench base damage is 2, it's doing 3. Soul Survivor's current physical defense is 3 plus 1. So he blocked 1 plus 1, so essentially negates that. The power armor always has a plus 1, so all said and done, just 1 damage got through on the 4 that the power armor is giving him. Best Boy Dog Meat is activating next to try and eat that aviator, so he's going to try and do 2 dog bites, needing 8s. 8 becomes a 7, 2 stars is quick action, and he can quick action nothing of relevance unless he kills the super mutant this turn. So that is just 2 base damage. The aviator is sitting on 3 thanks to his aviator cap. He blocked 1, so he took 1 damage. Second dog bite is a success with a quick action. 2 cola bottles is nothing relevant. He negated 2 armor though, that's important. So that negates the 2 base he's got, so he's rocking 1 armor. And that didn't block it, so in total he took 3, and he has, what, 2 on him? 2 on him, so he's still alive because he has 8 endurance. This aviator is going down swinging, he activated next, and he wants to smack Dogmeat with the board. Normally that's just that, however he's strength 7 when he's actually playing as the aviator, not just a bog standard super mutant. So there's the bonus black die thrown in, and he is needing 7s. That's a success with 1 extra damage. The board does 2 damage, so that's 3 in total. Dogmeat's physical defense is 2. He blocked none of that, but he has this 2 super armor, so that takes 2 of the damage, so he took 1 hit from that. I really should do the damage at the same time so I don't forget. The other swing, also a success, also bonus damage, 2 armor. He blocked 2 of that, so just that gets through for another point of damage. It's all said and done. Dogmeat has 2 damage. So now it's just that settler to go for my side. So very aware we're about to be at the halfway point of the match and we still haven't found the save code. So this settler is just gunning it to this searchable, which is... oh, an item with a danger. It's not the save code. Okay, well, we'll come back over this end of the table to quickly see. One, the item he found. He found some bourbon. Where's that buff? Strength, endurance, and charisma, by the looks of things. Probably not going to get used, but that's in his inventory. And he gets a danger card. Clockwork Trap. Okay, so the mechanism you've disturbed starts to spin and charge up. The choice is clear, try to stop it or brace yourself. Brace device triggers, but model receives 1 strong armor first. Deactivated test lockpick. He doesn't have a lockpick, so that's irrelevant. Charge dissipated, no effect. Device triggers. If device triggers, resolve 2 energy damage plus a yellow. Okay, well he's going to have to brace himself. So the bracing is like he gets +1 super armor. So 2 energy damage plus armor break. How much energy defense does a settler have? 1. So now he has none. So he just takes 2 damage, but the bracing absorbs 1 of it, so the trap damaged him for 1 damage. Okay. And now it's just the Mutant Hound to end the turn, I believe. So the Mutant Hound is, of course, going to just try and bite the settler. Also, apologies if you can hear the wind. No sooner has one storm finished taking the UK, another one is here, and he's needing 6s. That is a success with double armor break, 1 extra damage, and what does the star do? The star does a quick action, but that's not really relevant because he's not going to do anything else. So all the armor is negated, full damage. That is 2 damage on the first bite. Second bite. Oh wow. You better defend this armor. You didn't, so the full damage went through, so that's 4 damage. Don't they only have 4 HP? Yeah, they only have 4 HP. The settler that got 2 turns last time is dead. And that takes us to the start of Battle Round 4. So to get Battle Round 4 started, already into the latter half of the game, this settler activated and has moved next to here, and he's searching this. He's found the code. He has the code. He also chugged bourbon, I should point out, just why not. So currently it's giving him +1 strength, +1 endurance, and +1 int, and then each turn it goes down, down, down. Once it's gone, he would have to do a addiction check, but by then the game is over, so it's irrelevant. So he's found the safe code. I don't know if that means the whole team know it or just him. Presumably the whole team know it. So he was going to take a shot or have to run up there to check that item up there, but now that he has the code, he needs to get to there. So his other action then is just going to be a yellow move. Just get that. Where's he going to go though? I guess take the route that he was at before. So he's going to go over there, and that also means he's out of yellow from the marker. Or he should be, because he moved yellow. Still got 1 damage on him. The bourbon's given him +1 endurance, so technically he's at full health. He needs to Scarper. Or someone needs to Scarper. Over to the AI now though. So the first AI turn is going to be interesting. The Brute is activating and he wants to do the objective, which basically means kill him, because he has the means by which to get the objective. I guess. I think the objective said something about them dropping it. Oh no, that's the journal though. So presumably anybody can grab the journal, but he found the thing that wants the journal. Or rather will give access to the journal. So he's technically the priority, that's the way I'm treating it. He wants to charge and then attack, but that means the sole survivor gets a free hit. However, he only has a ranged weapon, so that's -2 already, and hitting a target fleeing from combat is -2. So he's skill level 1. He actually got a 1, because the cog counts as a quick action plus a 1, and also extra damage. And the cola bottle ignores armor. 1 damage ignores armor, sorry, so that ignores armor. The base armor of the Brute is 2, so he could negate the standard damage. He negated 1 of it, so he takes 1 of the standard damage. Oh wait, sorry, it's energy. It's not same energy armor. So he took 1 of the damage standard, and that. He took 2 damage. Then, as discussed, he successfully charges. Let's put the 1 damage on him. Apologies, there we are. So he, with his charge bonus board, will be the bonus black for charging with strength. Oh, sorry, the bonus green, he gets the black for free because he's strong. And then pipe wrench, he basically can't fail because he's 7, and that's a 6. 2 extra damage. Oof. So he negated none of it. He took 4 damage and has died. Well, let's just say that everybody knows the safe combination, because otherwise that's the game right there. So the sole survivor, seeing that his comrades are falling, has decided that the better part of valor is to retreat towards the safe. So the supermutant gets a free hit with -2 on his sledgehammer, so his skill is currently 4. And it actually succeeded. Does that do anything? No, because it needed the nuke. Ignores 1 armor. Other than that, does standard damage. Physical, 2 damage. Negated 1 plus 1, so negated 2 of it. Oh, sorry, well, yeah, that ignores 1, but it brings his armor down to 2 plus 1. So he negated 2 because of his super armor, so it does nothing, right? I've confused myself. He ignored 1 of his armor, but that just means he's 2 plus 1. He blocked 1 of damage with his base armor, and then the super armor blocks the other one. So yes, he took no damage thanks to being in power armor. So then he's just going to move yellow for his turn. Going to move there, and then can he technically touch that? If you then spin, I'm going to say he's touched that and is opening it. So he has taken the journal, and it's now his goal, I'll put it on this card there, to flee off the table, which I think he'll be able to get away with because the power armor's only taken 1 damage so far. So we'll see. The hound hasn't gone this turn yet though. The mutant hand activated and has charged the sole survivor to try and stop him getting off the table. So he's trying to bite him, needs a 6, got it. Ignores 1 armor, does 2 extra damage, so that's 4 physical damage coming through. So he's got 1 armor break, so that counts his armor currently as being 2 plus 1. So he did actually negate 2 plus the 1 bonus from the super armor. He took 1 damage. So all said and done, could definitely have been worse. However, that just means that the power armor only has 2 health left. And now only dog meat to go for my side. So after dog meat, the aviator and the other super mutant just get to do whatever they want. So he's going to try and bite the aviator, finish him off. He needs an 8, so he got it. Became a 7 anyway. Ignores 1 armor of the aviator. So that is the aviator currently at 2. He negated all the damage. Well, the other dog bite will come through. It gets through. It ignores 1 armor again, so his armor is 2. He ignored 1 of it and took 1 damage. Is he only 6 HP? No, the aviator is powerful. He's still got 2 HP left. Alright, so then the aviator and the super mutant with the sledgehammer get to act, and then that takes us to the end of battle round 4. The super mutant with the sledgehammer has moved and charged and got into the back of the sole survivor, so he's using the sledgehammer with the stun mod, forgot the blue die for that, black die for charge bonus, and +2 because he's outnumbering the sole survivor, so he basically can't miss. I think it puts it at 8. Oh, he actually did get a critical failure, so never mind, he did miss. And that technically is all that matters, other than the free hit they will get when the sole survivor flees next turn. Whether the aviator tries to flee from dog meat or kills dog meat, he can't see the sole survivor. So we're just going to jump straight into battle round 5. 2 yellow moves is enough to get off the table. So it just matters how badly these 2 hit him. So it all comes down to this. Battle round 5 is purely him wanting to flee from combat and both these 2 getting a -2 skill check attack. So the super mutant with the sledgehammer, -2 puts him at 4. He actually did get it with a nuclear explosion, which means it does stun. So that could be important, but let's just do the base damage first. 3 plus 1. He negated 2 of it, so he actually negated all the damage. I'll need to see what stun does though, because that means the stun pack procced. Okay, so what stunned does is, it's like in Crisis Protocol, the first quick action or action the sole survivor has to take is to use up one of their actions to shake off the stun. So that means he can't get off the table this turn, but the hound still also has to take a bite, so let's see what happens with that. That is that, plus a black die, and he is skill -2 because it's fleeing, so it's 4s. and that does not do anything. So roll around to the sole survivor. His first action has to be to remove the stun, and his second is to flee like this. Now, again, the only thing that matters is whether or not he gets off the table technically next turn now, because the next turn is the final turn. Let's see, would any of this other stuff matter? I mean, they haven't had turns yet, they're going to charge him. So yeah, I think we have to play this out and see what happens. So the Brute activated and he's shooting his missile launcher at the Soul Survivor's back. Joy. So he is heavy weapon skill 8. He succeeded, broken armor, and did 2 extra damage. I'm not going to get any chance to use, I found that like it's a 2nd or 3rd edition scatter die for 40k. They just want you to flip a token, but I actually found a proper scatter die. Either way, so with the armor break, she's currently at 2+1. She actually guarded 3 of the damage. That's amazing. So it only did 1 damage to her, meaning that there is 2, wait, she already had 2 on her, and it did 1 damage, right? Confused myself. Okay, sorry, yes, it did 1 damage, 3 in total. The power armor has 1 HP left, and that is the missile fired, and it won't fire again. So I'm not going to bother with Dogmeat's turn. This is all that matters. They're obviously both going to charge him on their go, so we're going to start with the super mutant. Even if he stuns him, as long as it doesn't kill him, the hit did get through with -1 armor, so 2+1 armor. Nope, so just the +1 applies as another damage. So what that means is the power armor is broken and that damage is gone. So the power armor, you pull that out there and then you flip it and it becomes damaged. So you're still just getting the 3 strength. You've lost the power armor, but you do keep the radiation defense, which is nice. And more nice, didn't stun. So the mutant hound, oh, there should have been a bonus die thrown in there because it's a charge again, but it hit, so it doesn't matter. Is that, and needing 6s, and he got it with 2 extra damage. Okay, 3 physical defense, blocks 2 of it, so the 2 gets through. How much base health does she have? 6. She's got 4 health left as we basically roll into the final turn and see if she can get away this time. I didn't think this was going to go to the full battle round 6, but here we are. It is down to the wire. It is the first Soul Survivor's turn. She just wants to get off the table. So, 2 free hits with skill -2. 4s. Okay, good. He missed. He's no longer relevant. His free hit missed. Now, the super mutant bite. We need a yellow and a blue. There they are. Skill -2 is a 4. Instant fail. The Soul Survivor successfully slips away from combat and gets off the table to victory. So that was a super close one. It came down to the wire, but the surviving team did manage to win, despite heavy casualties. So next time, as I look in the book, is the final tutorial scenario. It's called The Coming Storm. It has a lot of complicated equipment. It has every model that comes in the starter set I think is used. Yes, every model, so some of you might be aware of what that means. It's going to be very dangerous, let's put it that way. And for those of you wondering what's after the tutorial scenarios, the campaign book has a bunch of linked scenarios, it has standard standalone scenarios, and it has AI scenarios, and it will be the AI scenarios we go on to next, purely because they're balanced for fighting the AI, not another person, but also, or not purely because of that I should say, but more importantly, it doesn't specify the teams. So it won't just be super mutants we're up against every time if I keep playing as the survivors. We can maybe go up against some robots, some ghouls, or creatures in general they're classed as. So that gives us a bit more variety once the miniatures are prepared. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Fallout Wasteland Warfare battle report. We'll be back next time for the final tutorial. Until then, ta-ta for now.